Stop letting society lie to you about mental health. We've been fed myths, stigma, and half-truths that silence millions and crush lives. Today, we tear those walls down. This isn't just another talk. It's a mission to expose what's broken, ignite unstoppable change, and arm you with the truth that saves lives. No sugarcoating, no excuses. This is where we confront the lies head on, rewrite the narrative, and take back our power. Together, we're not just surviving. We're conquering the battlefield of mental health and changing the world one bold step at a time. We've been sold this idea for decades that struggling with your mental health means you're weak, broken, or not tough enough to handle life. That narrative is not just wrong, it's dangerous. Because here's the truth. Acknowledging your mental health is actually one of the strongest, most courageous things you can do. Think about it. When you break a bone, nobody says, just walk it off. You get help, you heal, and you get stronger. Yet, when it comes to the brain, the most complex organ in our body, society flips the script and tells us to hide it, ignore it, or push it down. That's insanity. Science shows us that resilience is built not by avoiding struggle, but by working through it. Seeking therapy, practicing coping skills, or even admitting I'm not okay are acts of strength, not weakness. They show self-awareness, they show courage, they show a commitment to becoming a better version of yourself. And guess what? That's not weakness, that's growth, that's power. We've got to stop labeling people as fragile just because they're fighting an invisible battle. Some of the strongest individuals you'll ever meet are the ones who wrestle with anxiety, depression, or trauma every single day, and still find a way to move forward. If anything, society should be applauding that strength instead of shaming it. So let's set the record straight once and for all. Mental health struggles don't define weakness. They reveal resilience. And the moment we all start seeing it that way, we stop perpetuating lies and start creating a world where strength is measured by courage, not by silence. One of the biggest lies society tells people struggling with their mental health is this: just get over it. How many of you have heard that before? Maybe from a friend, maybe from family, or maybe even from that little voice inside your own head. On the surface, it sounds simple. Pick yourself up, move on, stop dwelling. But here's the reality: mental health doesn't work like that. Depression isn't a bad mood you can shake off, and anxiety isn't nerves you can simply switch off. These are real conditions with real biological, psychological, and social roots. Saying just get over it is like telling someone with asthma to just breathe harder. It ignores the science and shames the person instead, and that shame, it's deadly, because when someone hears just get over it, what they really hear is, your pain isn't valid, your struggle isn't real, you don't deserve help. And the moment people start to believe that lie, they stop reaching out. They stop fighting, and sometimes they give up entirely. That's why words matter so much here. They can either crush someone who's already hurting or become the lifeline that keeps them going. Instead of pushing the toxic tough it out mindset, we need to normalize compassion, patience, and support. Real healing starts when someone feels safe to say, I'm not okay, without being judged. That's when we open the door to actual solutions: therapy, treatment, community, and connection. So next time you feel tempted to say, just get over it, stop. Because the truth is, no one climbs out of a mental health battle by being shamed into silence. Here's another thing society gets completely wrong about mental health. We act like the mind and body are two separate worlds. As if your brain exists in a vacuum, totally disconnected from the rest of your body. That couldn't be further from the truth. The brain is an organ, just like the heart, the lungs, the kidneys. It runs on chemistry, it reacts to stress, it responds to the environment, and when it's not functioning properly, it sends signals that something is off. But instead of treating those signals with the same urgency as chest pain or a broken bone, people often dismiss them as all in your head. Let me be clear, mental health is physical health. Anxiety can cause your heart rate to skyrocket, your stomach to churn, your muscles to ache. Depression can change your sleep patterns, your appetite, even weaken your immune system. Trauma can rewire the way your nervous system responds to the world. These are not imaginary problems. They are measurable biological processes, but here's the wild part. We still don't give them the respect they deserve. Imagine if someone with diabetes was told, just think positive and your blood sugar will fix itself. That would sound absurd, right? Yet we say that exact thing to people battling depression or anxiety every single day. It's time to close the gap between mind and body. The brain isn't separate, it's the command center of your entire system. When it suffers, the whole body feels it. And when it heals, everything else follows. Another huge misconception society clings to is this idea that if someone looks successful, they must automatically be happy and mentally healthy. We see people with great jobs, perfect Instagram feeds, fancy houses, and we assume they've got it all together. But let's get real, success on paper doesn't guarantee peace of mind. In fact, sometimes it hides the exact opposite. Think about how many times we've been shocked when celebrities, athletes, or high achievers come forward about their struggles with depression, anxiety, or burnout. On the outside, they're winning awards, breaking records, building businesses. On the inside, they might feel empty, overwhelmed, or completely lost. That disconnect happens because society teaches us to measure worth by achievement, not by well-being. So people push themselves harder and harder, chasing validation, while their mental health quietly crumbles in the background. And let's be honest, it's not just celebrities. It's your co-worker who never misses a deadline, your friend who always looks put together, or even you, putting on a strong face while battling something no one else sees. The truth is, success and struggle can exist at the same time. You can crush it in your career and still be crushed by anxiety. You can smile in public and still feel broken in private. We need to stop assuming that outward achievement equals inner stability. Mental health doesn't discriminate. It impacts the ambitious, the talented, the hardworking, just as much as anyone else. Success might bring opportunities, but it doesn't erase human vulnerability. Let's talk about one of the biggest barriers people face when it comes to getting help: the stigma around treatment. Too often, when someone considers therapy or medication, society slaps on this label like they're weak, broken, or the worst one, crazy. That word alone has stopped countless people from seeking the care that could actually save their lives. And it's heartbreaking because treatment isn't a sign of defeat. It's a strategy for survival and growth. Think about it this way. If you had high blood pressure, would anyone judge you for taking medication to lower it? If you had an infection, would anyone shame you for taking antibiotics? Of course not. Yet, when it comes to the brain again, the most complex organ in our body, people act like seeking medical help is something to hide. That stigma doesn't just hurt feelings, it costs lives. The reality is that treatment takes many forms. For some, it's therapy, a safe space to unpack trauma, learn new coping skills, and build resilience. For others, it's medication that helps balance brain chemistry so they can function, focus, and actually live their lives. And for many, it's a combination of lifestyle changes, therapy, and medication working together. None of these are shortcuts. They're not crutches, they're tools, and using them doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're smart enough and brave enough to fight with every weapon available. Here's the final piece society keeps getting wrong: silence. For decades, we've been told not to talk about mental health. Don't bring it up at the dinner table, don't mention it at work. Keep it private, keep it hidden, keep it locked away. But here's the truth: silence is the real killer. When people feel like they can't talk about what they're going through, they suffer in isolation. And isolation convinces them that they're alone, that no one could possibly understand, that asking for help would make them a burden. That is the lie silence tells, and it costs too many lives. But when we break the silence, everything changes. Talking about mental health doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It shows others that it's safe to speak up too. And once people know they're not alone, the weight starts to lift. That's how stigma crumbles, one conversation at a time. Whether it's a friend checking in, a parent listening without judgment, or someone brave enough to share their story online, those moments spark a ripple effect that can literally save lives. Imagine a world where people spoke about depression the same way they talk about the flu, where reaching out for therapy was as normal as going to the gym. That's not some distant dream, it's possible. But it starts with us choosing to speak instead of staying quiet. So here's the bottom line. Society has been getting mental health wrong for far too long. It's not weakness, it's not something you can just get over, and it's not separate from physical health. Success doesn't shield you from it. Treatment isn't defeat, and silence only fuels stigma. But the good news? We can change this narrative together by speaking up, supporting one another, and treating the brain with the same respect as the body. We rewrite the story. Mental health isn't a limitation, it's a fight worth winning, and every step we take toward truth saves lives.